In this video, we're going to be unboxing and testing the Sirui Nightwalker cinema lenses and seeing if they're really the best budget micro four thirds cinema lenses on the market right now. Let's hop right into it. You can get all three of these lenses for under $1,000. They're about $300 to $350 US a piece, and that's a heck of a steal. So we're going to go through the pros, the cons, and I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of footage throughout this that was shot on my Lumix GH6. And I gotta say, I'm really happy about these lenses, and I love the way they performed, especially in low light, but we're gonna get into that. So let's talk all about the pros and the cons. So for starters, there are three lenses that you can buy right now. There's the 24mm, the 35mm, and the 55mm, and they're all T1.2, which is awesome for low light and that smooth, shallow bokeh. So the Nightwalker series is an S35 frame set of lenses, and I am personally using them on the GH6, which is a micro four thirds. So there is a whole conversion rate. So the number you see on here isn't necessarily the focal length that you will be seeing on a micro four thirds camera. Now I believe it will be a 2x crop. So the 35 will be a 70, your 24 will be a 48, and your 55 will be a 110, and that's a pretty versatile range of cinema lenses. So let's talk about the pros of this Nightwalker series. First of all, they are built solid aluminum. Everything feels and looks great. So I'm going to say the build quality on these is fantastic. I want to make sure everything is nice and smooth. Everything feels solid and not plasticky. It has a solid aluminum feel, and there's a little bit of heft to it, but these guys aren't going to be as heavy as huge cinema lenses. It's a great combo, especially if you're working micro four thirds, GH6, you're trying to stay with a small run and gun kit. These guys are 500 grams and the perfect little size. The awesome part as well, you have these little gears on the side built into the lens. If you want to run a follow focus or any sort of mechanical focusing, everything lines up. They're all the same size, which is awesome for gimbals. All of these gears fit in the same place, so you switch out a lens and you're not having to rebalance a gimbal, readjust things, take a lens off, put a new lens on. Everything is very quickly interchangeable, and that's a huge thing with run and gun cinematography, is being able to change lenses quickly, not having to readjust your matte box and your follow focus and rebalance your gimbal. That can be a total pain in the butt. So Sirui made these all the same size, fit the 24 in the same size body as the 55 and the 35, and they're all about 500 grams, so that is awesome for run and gun cinematography. Additionally, these all have a 67mm thread on them, so you can use the exact same filters and not have to worry about 4 different filters or 3 different filters for each lens. You can switch them in and out. I personally use a matte box, so I can just slide one filter, like a neutral density filter or a polarizer, in and out. So in addition to the build quality, these lenses look fantastic when I throw them on the GH6. The bokeh is buttery smooth. Even as I stop down, there are enough blades in this aperture that everything looks nice and smooth. I really love the bokeh. I love the focus. I love that focus roll off. Everything looks great. There's a little bit of a bloom, and we'll talk about that later when you're wide open at T1.2. As you close down a little bit to 2.8 T4, you'll start to see that bloom go away a little bit and you'll get a little more contrast. But I love the look and I love the character of these Cine lenses. And on top of all of that, they are tack sharp. Sirui did an awesome job at getting these things tack sharp. So you have your very tack sharp focus and that nice subtle focus roll off that really gives you a beautiful cinematic image. And I hate when people misuse the word cinematic, but this is a high quality lens, especially if you're on a budget. This lens is awesome, and it's been blowing my mind every time I've put it on my GH6 so far. I really can't wait to shoot some music videos with this. So we've talked about all of the pros. I think this lens is great. Let's talk about some of the cons. Now, there is a little bit of chromatic aberration as you get kind of towards the edges of the lens and the edges of the frame. You may start to see some subtle color fringing. I think that adds to the character of this lens. Lenses have become so clinically sharp, they lose all sense of character. And I think clinical or like sanitized is the best word. We've tried so hard to make optics perfect. We've pretty much sanitized any sort of defects or character out of the lens. And I like subtle defects in glass, and I like a tiny bit of chromatic aberration. And if lenses get a little soft out towards the edge of the frame, I'm okay with that. I want my viewer focused in the frame, focused on what I want them focused on, not crazy things on the outside of the frame to distract my audience. So a little bit of character is a good thing. It will give your cinematography a different look than everyone else has with these like clinically, scientifically sanitized frames where just everything in the frame is tack sharp. So if you're looking for an awesome lens on a tight budget under $1,000, these lenses are really, really fantastic. And I did mention kind of some blooming effect when you are wide open. You may not like that. I don't mind it. You can always close down to, again, T2.8, T4, and that will get rid of some of that blooming. But I personally, I don't mind it, and I actually love that kind of subtle blooming, a little bit of glow around the highlights. So as I've said throughout this video, I am pleasantly surprised with the Nightwalker series from Sirui. It performs great in low light. The thing to remember is your camera does need some form of light. Cameras and camera sensors feed off of light, so you have to feed your camera light. And if you do it correctly and you do it strategically, you can get some very awesome low light footage, and it will look fantastic on these lenses. So that being said, I know we talked a little bit earlier about Sirui possibly releasing some other lenses in this lineup. They said they may be releasing some lenses in the future, and I'd really love to try those out because I really enjoyed this. I'd love to see something kind of on the wider end, something around maybe, I guess it would be a 12 millimeter on S35 and maybe around 16, 20 millimeters on Micro Four Thirds, and then something on the telephoto end. I guess it might be an 85-ish on S35, something close to maybe a 135, 150, 200 on the telephoto end to really reach out and get some really long shots. But again, I can't recommend these enough. The build quality is fantastic. They're fairly lightweight, but again, you can feel that solid build quality, and the footage is awesome, especially for the price. I am blown away. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Also, thank you to Sirui for sending me these lenses. No matter what, I give you guys my honest opinion of what I think about gear, whether I get it for free or not. But I think these lenses are pretty awesome. The pros definitely outweigh the cons, and I really consider the cons of this lens to be more character than anything else. And as a nowhere near pro cinematographer myself, still learning, still practicing, trying to get better every day, I love lenses with character and vintage lenses. So these fit right in my RunNGun arsenal and are a great part of my GH6 cinematography little RunNGun rig. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed some of that B-roll and footage. I've had a blast playing with these lenses for the last month, and you can check out in the description down below where you can pick up your own Nightwalker series lenses. If you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Let me know if you guys are interested in these lenses. If you want to see more GH6 content, which I plan on doing a lot more Lumix GH6 content. And as always, hit that like button, be sure to subscribe, turn on your notifications, and until next time, get out and go shoot.